Well, he says he's not endorsing her, but he's willing to work with her. That's what eBay founder Pierre Omidyar says about his former CEO, Meg Whitman, who is now running for governor of California. I spoke to him about that and about how Apple is changing eBay and about how it's changing how the world consumes information.
We're at the cusp of a tremendous revolution in getting high-quality technology into the developing world. You know, right now, an iPhone or an iPad, of course, is only the developed world. It's not. It's going to be many, many years before that technology has any impact on the developing world. But what is tremendous about what Apple is doing today with this kind of technology is they're causing people to rethink what computers are for and what handheld technology can do.
But do you foresee a time where, because of the different patterns of consumption and different applications and the like, that eBay would be a conglomerate of different retail businesses?
Well, not well. So the great thing about eBay, you have to remember. I mean, the wonderful thing about eBay is that eBay takes no inventory. It's not a retailer. So despite the fact that in 2009, eBay, or not despite the fact, but in 2009, eBay facilitated $60 billion worth of transactions in 1 year.
That's amazing.
It's an incredible number. It's $2,000 a second. Now, to be a retailer to do that would be, you know, practically impossible. And so eBay does it by being a marketplace, and it's actually the power of the marketplace approach. You know, you're creating a place and a technology for people to come together, bring their own skills, find others that share their interests in trading or merchandise or whatever it is, create businesses there, create services that serve those businesses there. That model is the same model that we are applying in our philanthropy to the developing world and to the rest of the world.
I want to ask you about a new project that you have. You live now in Hawaii, and you're publishing something called Civil Beat.
That's right.
What is this project?
So we, as you know, the news business in the United States has been in severe decline over the last, many years, especially public interest journalism. So the coverage of the hardest hit areas have been local communities where they have lost reporters that are covering City Hall, that are covering the governor's mansion or the legislature or this kind of thing. At the national level, we've lost a lot of resources as well, but we're still doing pretty good. So I looked at it and said, let's try to create a local news service that is public interest journalism that tries to experiment with a new model, not an advertising supported model. So it's an online only news service that is focused only on public interest journalism. We have no other interesting features. We don't do business, we don't do sports, we don't do lifestyle or any of the stuff that usually sells newspapers.
Are you personally funding this, or how do they make money?
Well, so it's a startup. I'm the CEO and publisher. I've also provided the startup funding. We have a subscription model, a membership model that we use, and we don't have advertising revenue quite yet. So the lack of advertising, I think, gives us a little bit of a different perspective on the things we're able to cover.
So is that an all-out bet then that the future for media would be more broadly a subscription-based model? I think the ad-based model is dead?
No, I don't think the ad-based model is dead for broad media. However, for public interest media, here's the real issue is that as advertising has moved from offline or traditional media to online, advertising online you can measure. You know exactly how many people have seen that ad and you know exactly how many people have clicked on that ad. It turns out that the audience for public interest journalism, for civic affairs, what's going on at city halls, that audience is not as big as any of us would really like it to be. And I just don't think that audience is sufficient to fund all of the reporters you need to do a good job to cover it solely through advertising.
I want to ask you about eBay's former CEO, Meg Whitman.
Yes.
She's the biggest self-funded candidate in U.S. history,
oh my gosh, wow.
due in part to the money that she made while working at eBay.
Yes.
Do you think she would be an effective CEO of the state of California?
Meg, I worked with Meg for 10 years. She is a fantastic executive. She did a great job at eBay, and her real skill is using data to inform strategic decisions and bringing teams together, putting the right people in the right jobs at the right time. So I think on that basis, I think she would do a great job as governor. Now, I have not endorsed her because we have some differences on some of the political issues. I was disappointed in in her sort of not correct decision, in my view, to support Proposition 8 in California. I was disappointed in her alignment with former Governor Pete Wilson on immigration issues, who I think took some very extreme views years ago about denying benefits to illegal immigrants. And so because of those types of issues, I think we're a little bit, we are apart, and I can't quite support her because of that. But from her skill set, she's somebody I think that would do a great job, and it's somebody that I would actually work with again. So there you go.
So if you were still living in California, you wouldn't vote for her?
On the basis of, I think, her misread of Proposition 8 and sort of the constitutional issues related to that, as well as the human rights issues related to that. And on the basis of the immigration issues, I would find it very difficult to vote for her. At the same time, I think, despite that, were she to be elected, I would absolutely work with her, and I think that she would do a great job. And I would work, of course, to try to change her mind on some of these other issues.